Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News on Shri FM. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kasmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Fate of governing NPP in Wale constituency in limbo as party fails yet again to elect a parliamentary aspirant after violence and ballot snatching forced EC to annul the elections. Also this afternoon, a flurry of activities across district offices of Electoral Commission as parliamentary aspirants file nominations ahead of December polls. And much later, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagwin urges stakeholders to collaborate in helping restore trust and public confidence in Electoral Commission. We have details of an exclusive interview. Thank you very much for joining us today. Now, the governing New Patriotic Party is still without a parliamentary candidate in the home constituency of its flag bearer, some 88 days to the December 7 general elections. The situation perhaps is more dire as the deadline for all interested persons to file their nominations elapses this Friday, September 13. The rerun of the disputed January 27 primary between the incumbent MP Hajia Lariba Zuweratu and Dr. Mahama Karibu again ended inconclusively following the outbreak of violence. The returning officer of the election told journalists the election had been annulled following the destruction of some ballot papers.
See, we put party first, then we put the candidate who is our own brother second before any other thing. So whoever is chosen for us, we shall all vote for the fellow without any doubt.
I'm surprised about what happened yesterday at the election ground in the Walwalo constituency where the election took place, because upon the heat presence of military and the policemen, someone was able to penetrate through them and tamper with the ballot box. This means that there was a fishy deal. There was a fishy deal between what happened yesterday there. So something has to be investigated, and the leadership has to also stand up to look at the issue, because I'm really surprised about what happened yesterday. Thank you.
And you heard the returning officer of that disputed Wale NPP primary. We're joined on the line now by Haruna Mohammed. He's Deputy General Secretary of the governing NPP. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Beatrice.
First of all, let me find out. I know this Wale issue has been tensed since last Saturday. Ballot snatched. EC has annulled the election. What is going to happen next from the point of the NPP?
Thank you very much. I say good afternoon to your cherished listeners. I think that this is something that the New Patriotic Party will be looking at very carefully. Some members of the party were sent there to supervise the elections. It was chaired by Chairman Masaudu, who was the chairman of the elections committee. And we believe that the New Patriotic Party in a very shortest time will need to take a decision on this particular matter.
We need to take a decision on this particular matter. I mean, Friday is the deadline for filing of nomination. The party must be disappointed not to have a candidate even after 2 elections. When you say that you're going to deal with this as soon as possible, how do you intend to ensure we are within time?
Yes, they always say that democracy is expensive. And I believe that we are looking forward to ensure that we are very clear in our mind as to the direction that we want to go. And I can assure you that in a very possible time, this will be done. Tomorrow, as we speak, we will have NEC meeting. which is an emergency NEC meeting, the General Secretary has issued a letter under his hand for this particular process to kickstart. And I can assure you that NEC will deal with this particular matter and ensure that we are able to get a candidate for Wale. If that will be the matter that will be discussed at NEC. NEC has been called, and I believe that something will be done expeditiously.
Is the party conducting investigation into this? Because there are some rumors that what if it's one of the candidates who desperately wants to win this, and therefore what happened last night could not just have been an accident?
Investigations are done on reports, and the party is waiting for the reports from the police, the EC, and the elections committee that was chaired by Ama Masaudu. So we're waiting to get this report. And I believe that this will be received before NEC meeting tomorrow.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll have to end it here. You had the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Haruna Mohammed, that will take you across the country as parliamentary candidates seeking to represent their respective constituencies in Parliament have begun filing their nominations following the opening of filing of nominations by the Electoral Commission. Whereas some are seeking to be retained, others are seeking to rerun, while many seek to be given an opportunity for the first time. Let's go to the northern part of the country and engage my colleague Christopher Michael, who's been following this for us. He will be joining us very shortly. But we know that Christopher has also been engaging some political parties ahead of time. Let's listen to exactly what they've been saying, and then we'll cross over to him for him to tell us exactly what's happening on the ground.
Of the women and the love of the men. Indeed, it's the love of the entire constituency, because one of the things they've said to me everywhere I've been is that they've had several MPs, but they've never had an MP like me who is always with them, always in the constituency. I'm with them at social events. When they are bereaved, I'm bereaved. When they have babies, I'm happy. When we are wedding together. I'm always with them all the time. And so the love has been organic since I had to persuade the police commander to allow me to come, and I told him, I'm calling only 15 people. If he gets here and there are more than 15 people, he should tell me, I'll get them to leave. That's why he agreed for us to come. It tells you the excitement that ordinary NDC party members have towards the 2024 election. They are motivated as the leadership is motivated. They are working as the leadership is working. Sometimes.
So we have I believe, the Member of Parliament for an area, Christopher Mwakun, spoke to earlier. Chris joins us on the line. Christopher, can you tell us who we just heard and indeed the atmosphere now?
Yes, so we just heard from the Member of Parliament for the Talaga South constituency, and one of the issues that she's been raising has to do with the fact that this year's election is supposed to be peaceful, and that she's also calling on the constituents to remain peaceful. Other political party parliamentary candidates, including some independent parliamentary candidates, have since filed their nominations and have also called on the supporters and also constituents to give them the mandate to represent them in Parliament starting from January 7, 2025.
Can you tell us the atmosphere as we have it now?
Yeah, the atmosphere is a charged one. As it stands now, the floodgates for the political campaigns have been opened. Yesterday, after filing of nominations, most of the parliamentary candidates visited some electoral areas to, as it were, share their visions with these constituents to ensure that come December 7, they are given the mandate to go to Parliament. Atmosphere is tensed. Hopefully not tense for us to need security personnel on ground. Yes, you know, some of these constituencies are already flashpoints of the Ghana Police Service, and so they are campaigning though, but the security agencies have also been on the alert, such that wherever they hear of any confusion, they will quickly rush to go and ensure that peace prevails.
Thank you very much. Christopher Marco is our correspondent in the northern region. We stay on election-related issues because the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, is asking stakeholders in election to help restore trust in the Electoral Commission. The comment comes as the EC battles with its credibility ahead of this year's general election. The opposition NDC and some CSOs have criticised how the EC has handled critical issues like the missing BVDs, wrongful voter transfer, among others. In an exclusive interview with me, Mr. Bagbin said that everyone must help to restore trust in the EC.
The lecture in Tamale. The next event will be a roundtable discussion where we'll bring to gain back the trust and credibility of the Electoral Commission, and the process cannot be done by the Electoral Commission. It has to be done by all the stakeholders together. And after the lecture in Tamale, the next event will be a roundtable discussion where we'll bring more of the stakeholders to Georgia, think together and work together. Don't forget the Electoral Commission during the course of election comes in with a lot of casual employees. And most of these casual employees are ordinary citizens from various careers or professions that come to support the Electoral Commission. So the Electoral Commission mostly is not in a position to manage these huge numbers. And so it depends on our own value system. It depends on our own commitment to the democratic ideals, and particularly the patriotic spirit in us to die for Mother Ghana. That determines our conduct and behavior during the elections.
Has the EC conducted itself well ahead of this year's general election?
So far, the EC has been prevented from being seen as an impartial arbiter.
Prevented by who?
You could see the background of some of the employees and the statements that they have made. It doesn't place them in the position that this is going to be an unbiased referee. And that has affected the credibility of the Electoral Commission. Some of the directors have made clear statements about some of the political parties, trying to pitch the commission against those political parties and painting those political parties in such a way that they are the problem in the country and not any other person. That should not come from the mouth of somebody working in the Electoral Commission. But that is what we have now. And all calls to the powers that be, particularly government, to take action, because those were appointees by government, has fallen on deaf ears.
You heard the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, in that exclusive interview with me. You'll get more on TV3, also on our YouTube page, as well as on all our socials. It's some 30 minutes past the hour or 12. This is still the Midday News on 3FM 92.7 now, and eerie silence. That's the verdict of environmentalists and the related watch groups to President Akufo-Addo's speech yesterday at the Ghana Bar Association. The man who put his presidency on the line said everything that mattered to him, but the one thing which mattered to many Ghanaians, Galamsey. For his near 1 hour address, the president failed to touch on the critical subject which has dominated social and traditional media over the last 2 weeks. The closest thing to what many had expected to hear was Attorney General Godfrey Dami's update on prosecutions. This is despite growing calls for a ban on all small-scale mining activities and for the president to declare a state of emergency. And we'll get into the government's response shortly, but the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II has also questioned the government's inaction, which has allowed individuals and groups to destroy the country with impunity. He spoke during a dinner celebration as part of the ongoing bar conference. Take a listen.
I congratulate you, your president, for his courageous comments on Galamsey this morning. Galamsey is an environmental enemy for the nation. What could be more serious for any people than to have the entire water supply system at risk? I think as lawyers, you should find space during this conference to set up a panel to undertake a quick tour of the communities where this scourge is most prevalent, to see the extent of the crisis we face and hopefully deliberate on how the law should respond. As I see it, if an individual poisons the water supply of a community, you'll be liable for severe consequences under the law. What does the law do when one pours mercury into the same water supply, knowing fully well it can kill? This issue now requires the collective effort of all sections of society. To do nothing is no longer an option. The Bar Association, the Medical Association, and the universities, in particular my university, should get together and carve a new path to deal with this emergency. In fact, going to Cape Coast, I stopped over at the River Pra, and it was, I'm afraid I have to tell you that what I saw, the river, it was so embarrassing. And then if as a nation we live for this to happen to us, I don't know. We have to fight this. No matter what, we have to do that.
And you heard that the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei to the second will stay on issues coming from that Ghana Bar Association conference, and the association is actually demanding for the Conduct of Public Officers Bill to be passed into law. This the association believes will help in reducing corruption in the country. GBA contends that notwithstanding interventions initiated to curb corruption, the canker keeps thriving. Yao Echampomboafo is the GBA president.
Since 1992, various and successive governments have implemented initiatives and policies and programs to deal with and curb corruption in Ghana. However, the current reality is that corruption is still a very big problem that hinders Ghana's development and its quest to consolidate constitutional rule. The revelations from the Citizens of Public Accounts Committee of Parliament and the Auditor General's reports are not only staggering, but make a sad commentary on the state of corruption in Ghana. In the latest Global Corruption Perception Index report released by Transparency International on 30th January 2024, Ghana scored 43 out of a clean score of 100 and ranked 70th out of 180 countries and territories included in the Corruption Perception Index (CPI). According to the said report, that marks the fourth consecutive year of stagnation in Ghana's anti-corruption efforts, as indicated by the CPI. While the GB accepts that the attribution of Ghana's stagnation on the CPI to the deteriorating justice system, which it says is reducing the accountability of public officials and therefore allowing corruption to thrive, is contestable and may not be wholly accurate. And while the GB acknowledges the works and efforts of state institutions such as the judiciary, the Office of the Attorney General, the Office of the Special Prosecutor in charge, to deal with corruption and corruption-related matters, nonetheless, it still paints a grim picture of the state of corruption and its fight in Ghana. In other words, we can do better and must be doing better in fighting this canker. The GBA calls for increased allocation of funds to resource the known constitutional and statutory bodies to fight corruption, and for Ghanaians to generally demonstrate more integrity with their dealings with one another. The GBA is aware that the Conduct of Public Officers Bill has taken some time to be passed by Parliament into law. There has been an inordinate delay. We believe that this bill, when passed into law, will be very key in ensuring high standards and integrity and accountability in public office, and by extension, reducing corruption-related acts, especially within the public sector. We urge the executive and the legislature to work together with more urgency in ensuring that this bill is passed into law before the expiration of the current government.
And you had Yao Echampomboafo. He's the president of the Ghana Bar Association. But the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, swiftly responded to that, describing this conversation as politically motivated.
I'm aware that there's a deliberate, politically motivated effort to stigmatize my government, my family, and myself as corrupt. I suspect, as payback for the damaging allegations of corruption leveled against members of the erstwhile Mahama administration, some of which have led to criminal convictions, and others are still being prosecuted in court. In spite of scrutiny, by credible public institutions of virtually all these allegations of misconduct on the part of my government, my family, and myself, which have been found to be baseless. The leader of the opposition, the perennial NDC presidential candidate, continues to describe me as a clearing agent. It is important that I reiterate that I will not abandon under any circumstance recourse to due process in the fight against corruption. Be that as it may, in any event, I'll leave it to the Ghanaian public and people. I will leave to the judgment of the Ghanaian public and people to decide whether it is preferable to be a clearing agent or government official one.
You just heard President Akufo-Addo there responding to the conversation on corruption. Now, the Public Services Workers Union is to meet the management of Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, GBC, on the arrears to be paid to technicians who worked on the 13th African Games. At a news conference, the General Secretary of the Public Services Workers Union said that it will not back down until the workers who worked on the project are paid. And we'll be hearing from Bernard J., who is the General Secretary of the Public Services Workers Union, shortly. But our Labour Affairs correspondent, Daniel Opoku, covered this for us. He joins us live in the studio. Daniel, just tell us more about what had transpired.
Right, so basically it's about the concerns of the workers, those who participated in the All-African Games somewhere, which was held somewhere in March. About 77 workers engaged in that, and unfortunately the allowances have not been paid to them. When their divisional union leaders pursued further to find out from the management as to when the monies will be paid to them, they realized that management told them that they didn't have any contract with the companies or with the National Youth and Sports Authority. For that reason, the payment to the money will be a problem. But they were able to push further. So in the course of the program, the agreement was that we were going to give them 50 Ghana cedis a day for food. Then it's
150.
50 Ghana cedis. That is exactly where the negotiations began. 50 cedis for food. Then it moved out to 70 Ghana cedis. Then finally they concluded 100 Ghana cedis should be given to each person one day. 77 workers. Unfortunately, the monies have not been paid to them.
How many months after?
Now, the project concluded March, April, around April. So April, May, June, July, August, September. We are in now. Those monies have not been paid to them. So they are asking the monies to be paid to them. That is why we can even listen to the General Secretary of the Public Service Workers Union, Mr. Bernard J.
I have here issues on your workplaces. That is the fact that you don't have equipment, people sleeping in the offices, allowances and things that are not being paid. And what I'm saying is, per this action we have decided to take, the DG has committed to us that we should agree on a day for a meeting for the issues to be addressed for us. My brothers and sisters, if even you are not being listened to and you have decided to take this action, and now the person is saying that, come, I am ready to listen to you. It shows that, yes, because you have power. It is now that we have come together and demonstrated that we are united. Everywhere you go, when there's division at the union front, I tell you, management will always have its way. And we must not shy away from that. That some of the challenges we have had has been due to internal problems we have had and some form of disunity. Now we have unity. You have here all the chairpersons from all the regions here. So it's no longer an Accra thing. And you have also your divisional national chairpersons also here. And this unity alone.
So he's just talking about unity there, but I think there was some response to their concerns, right, Daniel?
Rightly so, because after Bernard J's statement, realized that the workers were not happy. They believe that the management has been able to compromise the leadership. So even the local divisional chairman, Mr. Samnat, expressed great displeasure. We can take and listen to him.
We were treated. We were told there was no contract by our management. They were told no money was paid. They started with 50 cities negotiation. Then under the tree here, we met the management team. They came back to say 70 cities. Yes, but like yes, we feel it most. So don't sing these dancing songs to all of you. I am presenting the disagreements, but agreeing with management on behalf of the workers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why? Because if you give 100 cities for food, that is what they give. They say for food. Out of 77 production crew, technician and production team, our meeting with them, they came to complain that they didn't receive money as were reported on air. Only 8. We wrote to management on 26th of August, asking them to provide us the list and amount of payment made to. It's not our domain. Me, for example, to come here and be telling issue with management. I have special respect, especially for our director, but he doesn't appreciate those. That's the most painful thing. At the peril of attack from workers, we are demanding a compensation, having realized that money in excess of $3 million was paid and 100 cities. They started the program first week of March. On the 15th of March, that is where our police boycotted the venue, came to the union office, and we engaged management.
So you had an angry member of, I mean, he's part of the...
Is that the divisional chairperson of the Public Workers Union at the GBC?
Was there any reaction from management?
When the national leadership came, they went into a meeting with the management. The Director General has agreed to for those allowances to be paid and other issues that they have been calling for. One cardinal issue has to do with the termination of the appointment of the Director General. That's what the workers are also asking for. So these are the concerns that national leadership has agreed to meet with management to get them addressed.
Thank you very much, Daniel Opoko. He's our Labour Affairs correspondent. You're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7, some 27 minutes past the hour of 12. When we come back, we'll tell you the statistics regarding how many people are committing suicide in Ghana. Don't go away.
Everyone is running to Bills. Enjoy the peace of mind that comes with acquiring any of our loan facilities. For whoever you are and whatever you're doing, Bills has a product for you. No susu, no deposit. All you need is your Ghana card. Call 0302-200-390 or 0596-928-33 today and live a bill-free life. Bills Microcredit is licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
And you're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Thank you for staying. Now, the Greater Accra, Eastern and Central regions recorded the highest numbers of suicide attempts for the half year of 2024, with the most completed suicides occurring in the Greater Accra region. Now, according to the Mental Health Authority, in the first half of 2024, Ghana recorded a total of 543 attempted suicides and 81 completed suicides through various district health information management systems across the country. This represents an alarming increase compared to the 594 attempts and 48 completed suicides recorded in 2023. The surge is especially concerning as many of those affected by suicide nationwide are young, precisely between the ages of 15 and 29. Let me run you through some of the cases recorded so far. Now, according to the Mental Health Authority, it is crucial to pay attention to children and adolescents, as some studies in Ghana have shown a high prevalence of suicidal behaviors among students. A study by Azasu and Joe 2023 found a prevalence of 20.4% for suicidal thought, 23.4% for suicide planning, and 28.4% for actual suicide attempt among junior and senior high school students. Alarmingly, the prevalence was reported to be higher in junior high school students compared to those in senior high schools. And we'll be bringing you some more of this information in our subsequent bulletins. And that's it for the news here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us today. Okay, log on to 3news.com for more news. Have a good afternoon.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM.
I wake up early every weekday because of you, to keep you on top of your game. Yeah!
You are at the center of our universe. That's why we make it a duty to serve you only the freshest, hottest news and entertainment. When you want it, where you want it.
Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7 with me, Johnny Hughes, Helena Biambofo. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. I am Michael Ogbodu. Coming up, some affected customers of government cocoa bills exchange program expressed disappointment in Cocoa Board's failure to pay them their coupons and principals. We'll hear from one of such victims, Victor Kwam. Also, Ghana's revenue and grants for second quarter of 2024 falls below target despite year-on-year growth. We'll bring you details. Plus, CD depreciates marginally by 1.21% on retail market despite easing demand pressure. We'll bring you details of that as well. Please stay. Thank you so much for your time, and straight into our top story. Some holders of cocoa bills who did not participate in government's cocoa bill exchange program have expressed disappointment and frustration in Cocoa Board's failure to pay them. According to them, the delay by Cocoa Board to pay them their coupons and principals is affecting their livelihoods. Kwam, an affected customer, has been working for over 35 years, says he is cash-strapped and cannot foot the bill of his ward at the university.
Of course, it has changed because everything has turned upside down. Everything has turned upside down. If you ask me, if I get my money, where am I going to put it? It's going to be very difficult for me. Because you put it in a bank, and the bank you could say the bank has gone bust. This microfinance and all those things, they are all not safe anymore. So right now, that is also an issue. Besides, when we invested the money, the exchange rate was 6 cedis to the dollar. Now it's 16. So that's a huge difference. Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it? Because if the money had been out, I could have been moving it where I think I can get some money here and there and all that.
So that was affected customer of government's cocoa bill exchange program, Kwam. Remember to catch the full interview at 5 p.m. today on Business Focus on TV3 with Pakwisi Asari. Now, Ghana's total revenue and grants for the second quarter of 2024 amounted to 74.65 billion cedis, representing 7.1% of GDP, and that's according to the latest monetary policy report from the Bank of Ghana. Although this figure reflects a year-on-year growth of 24.6%, it fell short of the government's target of $76.07 billion cedis, rather a 1.9% deviation. This report has the details.
Ghana's total revenue and grants for the second quarter of 2024 have been revealed to be 74.65 billion cedis, about 7.1% of the country's GDP. This figure, as stated in the Bank of Ghana's Monetary Policy Report, marks a shortfall of 1.9% compared to the target of 76.07 billion cedis. Despite the shortfall, the revenue still represents a 24.6% year-on-year growth. Tax revenue totaling 59.7 billion cedis exceeded the target of 59.3 billion cedis by 0.7%, with notable contributions from income and property taxes. However, taxes on domestic goods and services underperformed, falling 8.2% short of expectations. On the other hand, taxes on international trade outperformed, generating 8.39 billion cedis, 10% above target. Non-tax revenue missed its target by 3.4%, while grants plummeted by 72.3%, coming in at 457.3 million cedis, significantly below the projected 1.65 billion cedis.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, the cedi continued to experience depreciation last week, although demand pressure on the local currency eased. Marginal losses were recorded across major currencies despite some signs of recovery. The following 3 Business News Desk report has more.
The demand pressure on the Ghana cedi eased last week, but the local currency is still depreciated, shredding 1.2% to the US dollar on the retail markets. This is a slight improvement compared to the 1.8% loss recorded the previous week. The cedi also weakened by 0.71% against the British pound, but managed to recover 0.42% week-on-week losses against the euro. Currently, the cedi is being sold at 16 cedis 35 pesos to the US dollar on the retail market and has so far lost 26.1% to the American greenback this year, making it one of the worst performing African currencies in 2024. In an effort to address economic challenges, Parliament has approved a $250 million World Bank loan under the Ghana Energy Sector Recovery Program. Analysts believe that the release of this fund by the Bank of Ghana could boost market sentiment and improve the cedi's outlook in the coming weeks.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, a tax partner at Deloitte Ghana, Gideon Ayu, has raised concerns over Ghana's value-added tax VAT law. He indicated the current VAT law is complicated and burdensome. The tax expert has therefore urged for a review to make it simple and business-friendly.
You have to file a lot of returns for the same VAT, and I'm putting it in quotes here because although we hear 15%, effectively it is 21.9% because you have to apply tax on tax. And so at each point and case that we do this, it becomes a lot more different. For each of these taxes, COVID-19, GET fund, and NHIL levy, you have to file separate returns for it. So it becomes cumbersome for businesses to do. Aside the administrative burden as well, it also has an additional cost because aside the 15%, the additional 6% that we have, it's not deductible in VAT terms. Generally, VAT should not be a cost to businesses. So when they buy something and then they sell onwards, they are passing on the cost to you and I, the individual taxpayers, that we don't have any businesses, so that it doesn't become a cost on them.
So that was Gideon Ayu. He's a tax partner at Deloitte Ghana, bringing an end to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Ogbodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe.